Hello, everyone, and welcome back to She Plays the Podcast. I'm so excited to be joined today by Stephanie Allynne, who is a part of the L Word Generation Q on Showtime, as well as One Mississippi on Amazon. But more importantly, she is on the Los Angeles rec basketball team, the Pistol Shrimps.
You love it.
The Pistol Shrimps. I mean, I think we should probably just go ahead. We could build the tension throughout the episode of like, what the heck is a Pistol Shrimp? But let's just go ahead and get it out there. What is a Pistol Shrimp?
A pistol shrimp, from what I know of a pistol shrimp, is a shrimp with an enormous claw that can snap a fish and could break a glass jar. And that's about all I know about them. That they're unassuming.
But that's intense.
Yeah. And our basketball team is the exact opposite.
Yeah, I mean, how long? I do want to go through your non-professional athletic career and highlight the Pistol Shrimp. So yeah, take us back to when you started playing, what sports you played, all that.
Before the Pistol Shrimps.
Yeah.
Before I officially made it.
Right.
I was a huge sports kid, and my childhood was sports. I played pretty much everything. And then when I was in middle school and high school, I kind of focused on basketball and softball. And I played that through high school and played travel and club and all that. And then didn't play in college and moved to Los Angeles to do acting and the arts. And then oddly, a friend of mine, Maria Blasucci, was like, oh, there's this LA rec league, this Los Angeles rec league, we should start a basketball team. And there was only 2 teams in the league. And we put together our comedy friends to be a team, and nobody had played basketball on the team except for 2 of us. And then I emailed a bunch of other comedy friends, and basically I emailed 100 women and said, if you want to put a team together, you only need 5 or 6 people. And then we had 10 teams in the first year, and it became this sort of spectacle. And the 2 teams that were originally in it were kind of ex-college players, old UCLA players, USC players who were phenomenal. And then this group of women that was showing up to practices in flip-flops.
Oh, that's amazing. So you built a whole league essentially.
Yeah, we did it was pretty wild. It became a real spectacle, and a lot of people came to watch. And then Angela Trimber, who's an actor and writer, she created a dance team for the halftime show. And now they do a ton of stuff and they've created this whole dance team, and they dance actually at halftime. I think they've done it at the Sparks games.
Oh, wow.
Los Angeles.
Very cool. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And so, yeah, what year was it that you started all this?
I think that was 2000. I want to say 2013, 2014, and we still play, and the league is huge. And yeah, and what blew my mind, you probably know this playing sports growing up, but you think at a certain point, the real level of play is gone. You're never going to have the uniform, you're never going to have the fans or the referees or whatever. And what was so cool about this league is that it was so for real. And you had to really have a coach, and you had to practice and play. And so to have that back in my life as an adult, I was so happy.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind how many other women who didn't grow up playing sports loved it so much.
Oh, that's awesome. So being introduced to it for the first time.
Yeah. And to play on a team sports, it's such a thing that if you know from a young age, you really know. And if you don't know it as an adult, you really don't know it. And so it was really cool to kind of have a mix of both. And then it made me so hyper aware of what that means to have played sports growing up.
Yeah, it's so true. And I love too that you have coaches. That's unique as well.
Yeah, I know. We have 2 coaches.
On shows and coaches. You guys are way more than a typical rec league. This is unreal.
Yeah, kind of incredible.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're so right. I mean, part of what I want to do this podcast for is to remind us of how much sports do mean to us, and how influential they can be on us personally, it's like as we grow up, but then as a community, like there is something about team sports that's just so sweet, so cool
Yeah,
to be a part of. Yeah, so
right.
like as growing up, how do you feel sports played a role in like your character building or like who you are today?
I mean, that's what's so wild is I'm realizing now how massive it is because I think number one, you learn how to work with different personality types and you don't really let it get to you. It's kind of amusing. And then the other piece is, I think it's sort of like, you learn you're going to strike out, you're going to miss. You just keep like failure is not, it's not really failure. It's just part of it. And so you're kind of resilient in ways that you don't even realize because the expectation is to succeed and fail and to go back and forth from that. And so I think being in entertainment where people are always like, oh my God, there's so much rejection. I'm always like, I never feel rejected. I don't have that,
Awesome.
like, oh, I didn't get the job. I don't think of it as like, I'm rejected. I'm like, oh, I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, I don't really care.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like
but you keep going.
Yeah. Like it's not the fatalistic reaction where, because like you're right, in a game, if you strike out or like you miss a shot, you can't just like, oh, makes it stop playing. It's like, no, hello, people are still going, you have to play.
And nobody really holds it against you. It's sort of, there's like an expectation that that's going to happen. And then when you succeed and it feels so great because you've also failed.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, I love that. And I love like you're seeing that in, your career and later on in life. That's awesome.
You just don't take it personally. And I mean, I remember as a kid taking it personally or being like devastated to miss a foul shot or something. But,
Did you ever score on the wrong basket?
Huh?
Like, you on the wrong basket? Did you ever go make a like big mistake like that?
I wasn't an idiot.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I did it once. Thankfully, I missed, and then the whole bench was like, that way.
I feel like that actually did happen a lot, where for whatever reason you forget, and then you just see the other team like let the person go.
Oh yeah, like please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. That was embarrassing. But again, it's like next play, here we go. You get over it. After
right.
You're like, oh gosh, But
but I think people that don't have that in their system or their cell memory, it's like it's a lot harder to take failure as an adult.
Yeah. And like, so right now during quarantine, like I'm assuming you guys are not playing. Like, how do you feel like that's affecting you? Because I mean, I know me, I'm like craving to be out there playing with people and like just having that camaraderie.
Yeah. I mean, last year I missed a lot of it because I was shooting the L Word. And so I didn't play a lot last year. And now going into the quarantine, not playing, it's really wild how much I miss it.
Yeah.
And even to think of before that league where I was just like, I thought that was over in my life and I would, casually play. And I think people don't, you can never really convey to someone that that you play sports or on what level you play them. And so I was always sort of this like little part about myself that I was like, nobody really knows this piece.
Right.
And then when I started playing on the Pistol Shrimps, and these were like friends of mine who I'd known as an adult for a long time, I felt like I was like, oh, there's also I have this other personality I couldn't tame it. I was like, oh my God, I'm insane. I'm an insane person, and now everybody's seeing it, and I can't stop myself.
Like the competitive stuff, or just how much you love it? Okay.
Like I get so into it.
Yeah.
And then and I think playing with other people who are that way, you don't think about it. Right. But then when everybody's out just kind of messing around and having fun, and you're like, oh God, I'm like, I can't stop. I care so much.
Right. Well, and like you said, bringing in a lot of people who've never played before, that's got to be a hard balance of like, I know what I'm doing, I want to win, but we're also here to have a good time.
Yeah. And like having a good time, you're like, okay, I got to like find the middle ground here to hide this piece. But there are I think what was interesting is that there were other girls on other teams and people I knew. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that they had played basketball in college. And And then you see that side of them too, that's like screaming at people on the court. Like I did feel like friendships changed after that league started.
Really?
Yeah. Where it was like you just like looked at someone a little differently. We're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I saw that other part of you.
Well, it's a little street cred. Oh, you played.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, and have you ever done any individual sports? I know softball and basketball, both team sports, but
I mean, not really. I used to run just for fun, but I never really individual stuff.
Yeah, I feel like they're so different as well. The mental aspects, and I don't know. I'm too like I've dabbled in golf a little bit. Like I played 1 year in high school, but it was so hard because you didn't have anyone else to like bounce ideas off of or like strategize with.
Right.
Just up to you, and it was a little overwhelming.
Yeah, it's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, I guess that I haven't, or I've never really been like I snowboarded a little bit, but I like that kind of stuff I didn't really do much of. But I like that. I like doing those things, but it didn't kind of take over.
Yeah. I know when I watch now like the US Open or like any of the big golf tournaments, I'm just like, how are they doing this mentally? I just don't even know. Tennis too, because that is where like it's so fast paced. Golf, you're walking, down the green or whatever, but it's amazing to see what they can do.
But I like in like thinking of in softball or basketball, like the moments when you're up to bat or the ball's coming to you or you're shooting a free throw, like those sort of isolated moments where you have a moment. Yeah. I like that. But yeah, I also like it coupled with the strategy. And that was actually something I realized, that kind of idea that I think you learn growing up playing sports or just playing sports is that idea like you have to want the ball. Yeah. And if you're somebody where it's like, oh God, the game's on the line, don't hit it to me, you're not really in the right headspace. Mm-hmm. And I think I've noticed that as an adult where I'm like, oh, I try to like always be the person that wants the ball. Cool. As like a metaphor. Yeah. But like I don't want to shy away or be scared of something. Yeah. Oh, I love that. And like translating off the court too. Like just that, I want that mentality. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna welcome that in my life because I really always wanted the ball. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're right to think about like foul shooting, like how mentally challenging that can be. I'm curious, in your rec league, is there like intense like noise making or like distraction time? Yeah. I mean, the fans, because we were comedians, I think the fans that were at our shows came to see the basketball game. Uh-huh. And there was all of that. Oh, that's awesome. But I loved, like, I have a little like like foul throw ritual that I like that zone where you try to get everything out, and focus. Right. I know sometimes I think about these like college kids who are 18 years old, NCAA tournament, 20,000 people watching them and like having to hit a shot. And I'm just like, yeah, amazing. But like practice will make it happen. If you practice over, it's just another day, Yeah. And you kind of live for that moment. Yeah. Right. You want to be the one. Yeah. You like, and there's like a part of me where there's like, people can make as much noise as they want. And there's like this other part of my personality is like, good luck. I'm fine. Yeah. Like there's like a little battle to it. Yeah. That's awesome though. Well, so what's your favorite memory of playing? Like best move you ever made or, coolest shot? Huh. I mean, I do remember when I played softball that I caught a ball over the fence that was going to be a home run. And that was a nice moment. I don't know. What comes to mind is actually not that this is a great memory, but it was something. But I was playing, it was in 8th grade, and I was playing travel basketball. And this girl, they were running a box and one on me. And this girl was driving me crazy. So like the whole game, we had a whole thing going. And then there was a jump ball, and she like we dove for it. And I don't even remember whatever he calls jump ball. And she attacked me after the whistle and broke my arm.
What?
Yeah.
Broke your arm?
Broke my arm. And I went to the hospital and I had like a really terrible break and didn't play for a year.
Oh my God.
And I definitely became I was a worse defender after that because I was a little nervous.
Yeah. I mean, that's that's terrifying.
Yeah. But that's when I think of sports. I'm like, oh yeah, remember that?
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, that would be memorable, sadly, but yeah. It knocked you out for a whole year.
Yeah.
Oh, what
it was like my forearm.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel that as an adult? That's something I definitely notice where I don't want to get hurt.
Oh yeah. And like seeing my parents, like my mom used to play basketball with us when we were younger, and then something happened with her knee and she like couldn't play anymore. And it was like such a bummer. Like that's all we wanted was her to come play with us and she couldn't. So absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that I remember I do remember like a lot of torn ACLs and like, I guess they're out.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza was on the Pistol Shrimps and I think she tore her ACL, something with her knee. And she was like on talk shows with a cane.
Oh, wow.
Just like.
And it was from the Pistol Shrimps?
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe she was telling people, I don't know, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and ACL is like especially for women, that's like one of the number one injuries that we get is an ACL tear.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's why a lot of these women who have opted out of playing in the soccer season this year is because we haven't been training. So and then we're playing on turf.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. You're trying to save your career. I don't blame you.
Is that that's the thing? Is that what's going on with a lot of sports right now? That a lot of players aren't playing.
No, I mean, I think with basketball, there were some that opted out for to focus on Black Lives Matter and social justice.
Mm-hmm.
Some were like medically excused, but for the most part, they were opting in. I think the only one that I've seen, male or female, has been women's soccer. And I don't know. I think it probably does have to do with like funding that league gets. Like they can't all fly privately, and so.
Right.
On a plane with who knows who, and you're not training together, and then you go out and play 90 minutes. Like they had a ton of injuries in the first week of that tournament, but they were from like hungry kids that like they wanted to be there so badly and like play. So
right.
I can't fault them for not, but the ones who are out there too, they're just like, now's my chance. Like, their names aren't here, so let's go. But yeah. It's been interesting for sure. I do miss like the game day and like, I'm imagining you're also just a sports fan in general. Like who are your favorite?
I mean, I don't really like know a ton, but I really like watching sports. I like watching baseball and I like watching football.
Okay. Who are your teams in those two?
Well, I'm a Buffalo Bills fan and I'm sorry to promote a male team on this podcast.
No. Equal opportunity. That's what we're all about.
I mean, I don't know. Do people watch the NFL? It's popular.
Is it?
I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah. Bills have a game today too.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that was because I was born in California and my family is not. My dad's a little more. He's sports. Okay. But we moved to Buffalo, New York when I was 6, which is a sports town.
Yeah.
It's all sports. And so I think like our childhood just went in the sports direction.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I'm trying to think, was Fitzpatrick? I don't even know. I haven't watched the NFL too closely the last couple of years, but the Bills I remember were like doing better.
Yeah. And well, when I lived there, when I was a kid is when they went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. So they and they lost every year, which is kind of great. The economy of Buffalo follows the Bills.
Wow.
So if they win, it goes up. And if they lose, they go down. So
at least they've made it, pretty high.
Yeah. And then everything plummeted.
Yeah. Gosh.
Where are you from?
So I'm from North Carolina.
Okay.
Based and here currently for COVID, because Florida was just a hot mess. But I typically live in Orlando, Florida now.
Okay, got it.
But yeah, I grew up Tobacco Road. Sorry, what?
I was gonna say North Carolina is pretty sports heavy, right?
Oh yeah, like we did not, when ACC tournament and NCAA tournament, like we did not have class. We watched those tournaments on TV, and we had like
really
by the class. Yeah, I mean, like some teachers was just like enjoy. Others would try to still teach some, but like people had, radio Walkmans with the AM FM back in the day. But
right.
Yeah, we're pretty loyal to fan bases as well. Carolina Duke, big rivalry.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah. It was a fun to be that inundated. And I will say too, as like a young girl growing up, the Tar Heel soccer team, like the US or UNC women's soccer team, is a dynasty, and like was really hard into it that time. Like Mia Hamm had started it, and she actually came back as an assistant somewhat when I was like in high school, and was like, it's Mia Hamm,
Wow.
But so I am really thankful that I feel like I had female athletes to look up to.
Yeah.
I don't think other people around the country had that or like knew of women to look up to.
I certainly didn't.
Really?
And it kind of blows my mind because I felt very like women's sports or girls sports growing up was very equal. It felt very equal to me, and it felt like the investment from adults was the same, and we had male coaches and dads that were so into it and treated it, very seriously. And and high school sports were well attended, and I just felt like they were really big. And then it seems like something happens in the college level and the professional level where it just drops off. And I felt like even like my peers, like male peers, really loved female sports. So it kind of blows my mind.
Yeah, it is interesting, and like seeing from Title IX, I think high school sports for women have been around since the 20s, 30, however long. But college sports only really started with Title IX in the 70s.
Right.
So I think there is a bit of catch up still happening. But they explode, like when women got the opportunity, they exploded, and like people were showing up, and it's trickled down into the professional leagues. But there's still so much of a gap as far as just awareness.
Yeah.
Part of it is, I think I sent this number to you, but like women's sports get 4% of all sports media attention. And I bet in COVID that's gone up, but like, really? It's like 4%? Right. We make up at least 40% of the athletes in the country. And so, gosh, why is that bias still there? And as far as fantasy sports, what we're doing, it's even less. And so,
right.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy to like be in the sports industry and still like say, oh, I'm like wanting to, invest in women's sports, and people are like, yeah, we don't, we have stats, but not for women's sports. I'm like, how? These leagues have been around for 20 years. Like,
yeah.
Why aren't you investing in this? Yeah, it's rough to still see it, but also, to be one of the people that's trying to move it forward in a new direction. We know it's gonna be hard, but like
it's so cool though
for future generations for sure. So
yeah,
it would be easier for them.
Yeah. I mean, it is that thing of it's like building up those sort of heroes in the way they do for men in male sports, especially for the fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
It's so rare with women.
Right. Because, I mean, you guys have a superstar in LA. You've got a couple, but Candace Parker is like unreal. And like, what a great role model. She's a mother. She's a professional athlete, outspoken, active, like just very cool. And I'm, I worry that there are so many even young boys that don't know who she is, like people, girls and boys, to look up to her. So yeah. Do you feel like, I know like the Lakers are probably untouchable, but is there chatter about the Sparks? Like, do people out there?
Yeah, there is, but it's just not on that level. And I've wanted to make it something where you get like box seats at Sparks games and like make it like this big event, because I think the Lakers have so much of that around it that it seems like a fun way to, like, I don't know, watch the Sparks.
And they're good. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs this year. Like they're not a good product.
Yeah, I know. And it's so fun to go to those games.
Yeah. And see your friend's dance troupe. I mean,
Yeah. I know. I miss them doing that, but they did it. I think they did it a few times.
That is, I mean, and I think that's what it's just gonna, if they're not gonna get recognition the normal way, or like, I guess the traditional way it's been, we're just having to find new ways to make noise.
Yeah.
And I don't know, do you feel that in like your profession at all, that like as a female, either in the comedy or actress, like there's still so much of that too?
Yeah. I mean, and I think the awareness around it for everybody is growing. And I certainly feel lucky to be in entertainment now, where at least I've been in a lot of all-female writers' rooms. I've been on sets that are mostly female, and I know that's rare, but I feel very lucky that even exists. But there's just that attitude that you kind of take care of men. And what I've noticed I do improv and sketch, and what I've noticed in that space is that the really funny people, male or female, that are kind of undeniable talents, they rise and they go off and do whatever they do. And that's equal, I would say. But the rest of everyone else that's like taking classes or doing things, there's this attitude around those men of like, well, they need a job, and they need, let them direct that video, or let them write on this sketch show, and they get opportunities just because there's this attitude of like, we'll help them get a job. Whereas I feel like with women who kind of missed the performing place or whatever, are kind of left just with nothing. And it's sort of like, well, you didn't become a performer, so maybe pick a new career.
Wow.
There doesn't seem to be this like belief that they should be brought in as well.
Same in the fantasy world too, honestly, like talking with other people about what we're doing and like where we want to invest, and they're like, like I see other people who are just kind of getting an idea going. It's like, oh, let's invest a lot of money in that, and it's like, oh, hey, we're spending like we've built a team, like
and they're like, okay, well, look, I can't wait to see what you do.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. But that's frustrating.
Like that attitude, like there's not like a help that's brought in, or money, or there was like an article years ago that Maureen Dow did about female directors, and just like they'll have a huge Sundance hit, and then the attitude is like, wow, you made an amazing movie, and I can't wait to see your next one. And then they start at ground zero again to make their next movie. Whereas the guy that comes in who has the huge Sundance movie, they're like, do you want to direct Batman? Like, wow, you made this indie film. Well, here's a bigger job, and here's a huge contract, and here,
Oh, it's unreal.
You just leap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so frustrating to know that, like, that's what we're up against. But it does help to have that kind of attitude of like, I know I can do this. I know I can, like, I'm just going to have to forge my own path.
Right. And you have to.
But yeah. And
I think people are receptive. It's just they're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, when you told me that you were doing fantasy sports for women, I was like, I'm mortified that I've never even thought about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like, why isn't it there? Like, as they were building up the one, why wouldn't they build up the second too? And it's just like, I don't know. I asked people, and they're just like, well, football. And I'm like, oh, great. There are 3 football leagues that women play in this country too. And it's like, they don't even know one of the acronyms. But, I mean, I'm thankful that it's given me a space to build something, build like our team to build something. But yeah, it would be a little nicer to have some help along the way. But we are strong. We are resourceful. We make do. And I want to honor your time. I do have a couple rapid fire questions.
Okay.
And then, okay. So, favorite sports movie?
A League of Their Own.
Oh, great one. TV show coming up.
I know.
Favorite warm-up song?
Oh no. I don't know that one.
Like a little jock jams, a little.
Yeah, like I'm thinking. Well, I'm like, I guess it was always jock jams, and then I thought, well, I don't think I like that.
Yeah. They were cheesy. They were kind of cheesy.
But I guess it works.
Yeah.
I have to think on that one. I don't know.
Favorite Gatorade flavor?
The blue one.
The ice
Frost.
blue? Oh, Frost. Yeah. That's a good one. Favorite athlete?
God. I don't know. I can't say. Who's your favorite athlete?
Oh,
How do you pick that?
I know. I honestly think so. There's a soccer player named Lauren Holiday,
Uh-huh.
and her husband plays in the NBA. But she was the like anchor midfielder for that first World Cup team, or 2015 team that won. And she was like always the most. I felt like she was so underrated. But I
Uh-huh.
just loved who she was on and off the pitch. So
Right,
she
right.
might be one of them. Michael Jordan's pretty good, I guess.
He's fine.
Okay, tearaway pants, pro or against?
Oh, pro.
Yeah, so easy, right?
I mean,
If you could have tickets for life for one sporting event for like the rest of your life, you can go to it every time it happens. What event? Worldwide or just in the United States?
I mean, I feel like Wimbledon would be pretty fun.
Great answer.
I mean, that's like I'd be pretty into going to that
Yeah.
regularly.
Do guests have to wear all white too, or is it just the
I
players?
don't know. Can I
Okay.
wear tearaway pants?
Yeah, please. Oh my gosh. Okay, last one. If you could be awesome at any sport other than basketball or softball, what sport would you want to be really good at?
Oh, I wish I was a really good skier or snowboarder.
Cool.
Like I really like when I go and I'm not and I think I would love to be good at that.
That'd be fun, I think. Like just to fly down a hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really want to go to an Olympics one year where they have the one where like they like no poles, they're just
Oh yeah. It
Oh,
blows my mind.
yeah. I watched that Eddie the Eagle movie about that guy and
Uh-huh.
it's like who thought of this sport in the first place?
How did you ever start?
Yeah, but man, it would feel like flying, I bet.
I know.
So, well, I have so loved getting to chat with you and
Great.
talk all things. Where can people follow you or find you or what projects you have coming up?
I'm on Instagram at Stephanie Allynne, Allynne, is my last name. And I'm on, you can watch the first season of the L Word, Generation Q. And you can watch 2 seasons of One Mississippi on Amazon.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.